It's here, the moment your soul's been bracing for, even if your mind's been pretending not to notice. You can feel it, the pressure, the fire under your skin, the storm behind your eyes. And guess what? It's not just in your head, it's real. And it lands hard on April 26th. This isn't just another date on the calendar, another wave of energy to ride out. This is different. This is personal. The universe doesn't care how grounded you feel or how balanced your life looks. Mars and Pluto aren't asking for permission. They're not easing into your orbit. They're colliding in the sky and shaking the ground beneath your feet. This isn't about planets passing each other politely. This is Mars versus Pluto. The cosmic clash that doesn't ask, it takes. It strips away what you thought was solid, rips through the stories you've told yourself just to get by. And Earth? We're right in the blast zone. No shield, no escape. Some of you are already feeling it. The restless nights, the tension that won't leave your chest, the sharp edge creeping into conversations. Maybe you've noticed yourself pacing, snapping, craving something but not knowing what. That's not just stress. That's the beast waking up inside you. And on April 26th, that beast doesn't stay quiet. But this is just the beginning. What's coming next in this video will show you exactly why this moment matters, what's really unfolding beneath the surface, and how to navigate the fire without getting burned. Stay with me, because if you think you can ignore this, if you think you can sit this one out, you're already losing ground. Like, subscribe, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. This is more than astrology. This is a battle for your power. And if you're still here, listening, it means some part of you already knows that. Some part of you feels the heat rising, feels the ground shifting beneath what you thought was stable. So let's pull back the curtain. Let's step into the battlefield and see exactly what we're up against. Because this isn't random, this isn't noise, this is designed to hit you right where you'll feel it the most. Mars, the warrior, the planet of action, of heat, of primal urges that live deep in your blood. Mars doesn't whisper, it charges, it demands. It's the spark that makes you want to move, fight, break free. You've felt Mars before, that restless energy that builds and builds until you lash out or make the bold move. But standing opposite Mars now is Pluto, and Pluto doesn't charge. Pluto waits. Pluto watches. The Shadow King, ruler of the underworld, doesn't waste energy. He moves in silence, but when he moves, nothing remains the same. He's the force that strips away illusions, the power that drags hidden truths into the light, whether you're ready or not. And here's the brutal truth. Earth is caught dead center between these two. No shields, no safe zone. There's no neutrality in this alignment. You're not a bystander, you're a participant. Whether you choose to engage consciously or get dragged in, kicking and screaming, you're in it. This is a cosmic collision, and it doesn't care if you're paying attention or not. But if you're not, that's when it hits the hardest. If you thought this week was going to be just another rotation of the same routines, if you thought you could coast through without confrontation, think again. The universe has other plans, and they're not polite, they're personal. Because what Mars and Pluto are clashing over isn't just the space above us, it's the energy inside you, the part of you that's been too quiet, too still, too willing to hold back. The part that's starving for something real. This isn't about whether you're ready, it's about whether you'll rise when the fire comes. Because Mars and Pluto don't wait for readiness. They ignite, they break open, they force the hand of fate. And if you've been sitting on the edge of a decision, holding your tongue, biting back your instincts, they're about to push you right off that ledge. Some of you are already feeling the tremors. Maybe it's a confrontation that came out of nowhere, or a conversation that turned sharp before you even knew what happened. Maybe it's subtler. The air feels heavy, the silence feels louder, or maybe you've felt it in your own skin. Restless, short-tempered, like you're wearing clothes that no longer fit, walking a path that no longer feels right. That's the battlefield. Not out there in the stars, but in here, in your body, your mind, your soul. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me. Because in the next section, we're diving deeper. We're breaking down exactly how this clash between Mars and Pluto will show up in your life, what signs to look for, what triggers to expect, and how to make sure this fire refines you instead of burns you down. Don't blink, don't turn away. This is the moment you stop running from the heat and start learning how to use it. Because whether you've named it or not, that fire has already been smoldering beneath your skin. You've felt it. I know you have. It shows up in the small cracks first, the moments you've tried to brush off, the feelings you've tried to explain away. But this isn't something you can ignore forever. The signs are already here, already speaking to you if you've been paying attention. Maybe it's that short fuse, the way little things that normally wouldn't get to you are suddenly unbearable. The driver in front of you moves too slow, the email that feels sharper than it should. Or maybe your nights have been restless, your sleep lighter, interrupted by dreams you can't remember but wake from with that racing pulse, that strange sense that something's coming. There's a low, humming pressure that settles right in the center of your chest, a kind of vibration that won't go away no matter how many deep breaths you take. Maybe you've caught yourself pacing, moving without a destination, feeling like an animal in a cage, like you're waiting for something, but you don't know what. And for some, it's even subtler than that. It's the quiet that suddenly feels louder than any noise, the air that feels thick, charged with something invisible but undeniable. Conversations that seem to shift too fast, the words getting sharper, quicker, like they've been sitting just below the surface, waiting to strike. You've noticed that, haven't you? The way people are a little edgier, or maybe it's you, sensing something you can't quite put into words. Because here's the truth. That hunger gnawing at you, it's not about food. That tension wrapping around your shoulders, it's not just stress. That's Mars and Pluto pulling at your core, calling something deeper to the surface. It's the beast inside you waking up, stretching, testing the limits of the cage you've built around it. This isn't anxiety, it's anticipation, and it's building. But the question is, what will you do with it? Because next, we're diving into the source of that pressure, the raw forces behind it, and why this energy isn't here to destroy you, it's here to activate you. Stay with me. It's about to get real, because everything you've felt creeping in, the tension, the hunger, the static building in the background, that's not random. It's not just a mood swing or a bad week. It's something much bigger, something ancient, something raw that's moving through you right now. And if you're still trying to tell yourself that this is just astrology fluff, just planets doing their thing far away from here, let me stop you right there. This isn't fluff. This is raw power grinding against hidden control. This is Mars and Pluto, two forces that don't ask, they demand. Mars is the fire, the push, the surge of adrenaline that makes your hands shake, your heart race. It's the urge to move, to act, to break the chains that hold you still. Mars doesn't sit politely waiting for permission. It lights the match and watches everything burn, just to see what's left standing. That's the energy pushing up from your gut, making you restless, making you crave change, even when you don't know what kind. But then there's Pluto. Pluto is the shadow, the depths, the force that doesn't need to raise its voice because it knows how to move the pieces in silence. It's the manipulator, the puppeteer, pulling the strings you didn't even know were attached. Pluto doesn't burn. Pluto burrows. It digs deep beneath the surface, down into the hidden layers where your secrets live, where your patterns hide, where your fears are tucked away, hoping never to be seen. But Pluto sees, and right now, it's pulling. Together, these two forces don't just create tension, they create ignition. They spark something primal, not something new, something ancient, the beast within, the part of you that remembers what it's like to fight for survival, to claim your space, to stand tall in the face of the storm. This isn't about learning something new, it's about remembering, reclaiming. And here's the truth that most won't tell you. This isn't a war in the stars. This isn't just cosmic bodies passing by each other, having some polite conversation while we stand back and watch. No, this is a war inside. This is the clash between who you've been and who you're becoming. The life you've built, the identity you've clung to, the roles you've played. They're standing face to face with the raw, untamed force of your potential. And that force isn't here to ask you politely to evolve. It's here to rip apart everything that stands in its way. You might feel torn right now. Part of you wants to hold on to the comfort, the familiar, the safety of what's known. But another part, the part Mars and Pluto are waking up, that part is ready to break free, to burn down the lies, the masks, the limitations. That part is hungry. And here's the dangerous part. If you try to ignore this energy, if you try to suppress it, it doesn't just go away. It builds, it festers, it comes out sideways through anger, frustration, impulsive decisions, or explosive confrontations. That's what happens when Mars pushes and Pluto pulls, and you don't give that force somewhere to go. But if you face it, if you meet it head-on, if you let it burn away the dead weight you've been carrying, that's where the transformation happens. That's where the beast becomes the warrior. That's where the fear turns into fire. So ask yourself right now, where have you been holding back? Where have you been playing small, staying quiet, avoiding the confrontation you know you need? Because this energy is going to find those places. It's going to shine a light on them, and it's going to force you to choose. Stay the same and let the pressure break you, or step into the fire and let it forge you into something stronger. In the next part of this video, we're going even deeper. We're going to break down how exactly this energy shows up in your day-to-day life. The triggers, the signs, the ways it tries to push you off balance. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to stay steady in the storm, how to use this power instead of letting it use you. Because you don't have to get burned by this. You can use this fire to rise. Stay with me. The real work starts now. Because once you recognize the fire, once you stop pretending it's just stress or coincidence, you begin to see the patterns, not just in the stars, but in your life. The cosmic pressure isn't abstract anymore. It's not floating above your head. It's right here, threading itself through your conversations, your choices, your relationships. It's showing up in the places that were already fragile, already fraying, already waiting for the final push. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That one thing you've been tolerating for too long suddenly becomes unbearable. That comment you've brushed off 100 times before, this time, it lands like a knife. That situation you've stayed in because it was fine, because it wasn't bad enough to leave. Now it feels like a cage. That's not mood, that's not overreaction. That's the pressure doing what it's meant to do. Crack what's false so what's true can rise. You'll feel it in your gut before your mind catches up. A conversation starts to feel like a trap. An old fear shows up like it never left, whispering the same story, just louder. You find yourself doubting things you were once sure of. And just when you think it might be all in your head, the world joins in. The friend who always tested your patience reappears right on cue. The co-worker who knows exactly how to push your buttons delivers the perfect line to set you off. A stranger's words, a passing comment, cuts deeper than it should, because it hits the nerve you thought was healed. But hear this, it's not random, it's not coincidence, this is cosmic precision. The universe doesn't waste an opportunity. It knows your weak points, it knows your potential, and it's pushing exactly where it needs to, not to break you down, but to break you open. So don't run, don't retreat. This is the moment you stand still in the fire and listen. In the next section, we're going to talk about exactly why these old patterns are coming back now, what it means when past connections suddenly reappear, and how to protect your energy from the ones who come not to reconnect, but to feed. Because not everyone from your past deserves a place in your future. Keep watching. It's about to get even more real. Because once you recognize the signs, once you see the pressure points lighting up all around you, there's no going back to pretending this is just another week. The universe doesn't throw this kind of heat for nothing. This moment, the clash of Mars and Pluto, isn't here to destroy you. It's here to expose you, to peel back the layers, strip down the masks, and reveal what's really underneath. And trust me, this isn't the kind of test you can study for. This is the kind of test that asks one simple question. Have you grown? Have you outgrown the patterns that kept you small? The people who dimmed your light? The stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you deserve? This energy is here to find out. And it's not going to ask politely. It's going to press. It's going to squeeze. It's going to see if you still fit inside the boxes you built around yourself, or if you're finally ready to break out. But here's the thing, you need to be careful, because this is the test, and the test isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle. Old connections might resurface, people from your past, those familiar faces that come back just when you've found a little peace. But they're not here for closure, they're not here to heal, they're here for access. Access to your energy, your focus, your clarity, the power you've been reclaiming. They can feel it, and they want in. So the question becomes, will you fall back into the old role? The peacemaker, the explainer, the one who bends to make everyone else comfortable? Or will you hold steady, let the fire burn through the discomfort, and stand your ground without flinching? This is the challenge Mars and Pluto are laying at your feet. In the next section, we're going to dive even deeper into these power dynamics. How to spot the ones who come to drain you. How to recognize the difference between connection and consumption. And most importantly, how to guard your power like your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. Keep going. The fire's not done with you yet. It's only just begun. And now that you've seen how it shows up, the triggers, the tests, the people who come knocking when you're standing on the edge of your next level, the question becomes, what do you do with it? Because this heat, this pressure, it isn't meant to burn you down. It's meant to ignite you, but only if you know how to ride it. Only if you stop trying to dodge the flames and instead learn to move with them. This isn't about avoiding the heat. Avoidance is what gets you burned. Suppression is what makes the fire explode when you least expect it. This is about riding it, grabbing hold of that wild Mars energy, letting it fuel you, move you, push you into action where you've been frozen. Let Mars stir the parts of you that have been asleep, waiting for a reason to wake up. and let Pluto do what Pluto does best: reveal. Show you what's been hiding in the corners of your life, what needs to be torn down, what needs to be burned away so you can finally build something real. You can't just sit with this energy. It needs somewhere to go. Start with your body. Move. Let the tension shake out of your muscles. Go for a walk, dance, lift, run. Whatever gets the blood moving, gets the heat flowing through your veins instead of bottling up beneath your skin. And while you're moving, look around at your space. Where's the clutter? Where's the stagnant energy collecting like dust in the corners? Clear it out. Declutter. Release. Make space physically for the new energy to move in. Then turn inward. What words have been sitting in your throat, unsaid? What truths have you been swallowing down, too afraid to let loose? Speak them. Write them. Say them out loud, even if it's only to yourself. And those boundaries you've been avoiding, the ones you know need to be set, but you've been waiting for the perfect moment. This is the moment. Set them, draw the line, claim your space. In the next section, we're going to explore what happens after you move the energy, how the world responds when you step into this power, and why some people might not like the version of you that rises from these flames. Stay with me. We're not done yet, because once you've moved the energy, once you've spoken the words, set the boundaries, cleared the space, you might think the hard part is over, but this is where the real shift begins. And it won't come crashing in like a tidal wave. Don't expect fireworks. Don't expect grand sweeping changes that announce themselves with trumpets. No, the aftermath of this kind of energy moves quieter. It happens in the whispers. It happens in the slow unraveling of what no longer fits, the silent slipping away of what's outlived its place in your life. You'll feel it before you see it. A conversation that used to excite you suddenly feels hollow. A plan you've clung to feels heavy, uninviting. People might pull away, not with a fight, but with distance. And some doors you thought were open might quietly close. Let them. Let it all fall away. Don't chase what's leaving. Don't cling to the debris. This isn't loss. This is refinement. Because what's happening isn't your world collapsing, it's compression, the narrowing of your path, not to limit you, but to sharpen you, to bring your focus to what really matters. All the noise, the distractions, the dead weight, they start to dissolve, leaving behind only what's aligned, only what feeds the fire you've been stoking inside. This is how Mars and Pluto work together. Mars clears the space. Pluto refines the vision. Together, they burn away the excess, so what's left is sharper, clearer, more potent. You might feel like your world is getting smaller, but the truth is, it's getting more precise. What remains is what's meant to stay. The people who stand beside you now, the projects that still call to you, the paths that still feel right, those are the ones that will carry you forward. In the next section, we're going to break down how to hold steady in this quiet space, how to trust what's leaving and lean into what's left, so you don't mistake this refinement for loss. Keep watching. The fire is still shaping you. And here we are, at the edge of it all. This is the moment where the fire settles, where the echoes of Mars and Pluto still ripple through your life, shaping what comes next. Remember, this isn't about surviving the clash. It's about letting it refine you, ignite you, transform you. If you've felt this energy, if you're ready to stand in your power, drop the number 77 in the comments to let me know you're with me on this path. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The cosmos isn't done speaking, and neither are we.